దూర విద్యా విధానంలో డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ ఓపెన్ యూనివర్సిటీ దేశంలోనే మొట్టమొదటి సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం. దాదాపు 2.5 దశాబ్దాలుగా దూర విద్యా విధానం ద్వారా కంప్యూటర్ కోర్సును అనుసంధానం చేస్తూ BA, BCom, BSc డిగ్రీ కోర్సులను అందిస్తోంది. పోస్ట్ గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ స్థాయి, డిగ్రీ, డిప్లొమా స్థాయి కోర్సులను ఔత్సాహికులైన విద్యార్థులకు అందిస్తోంది. డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం స్థానికంగా స్వయం బోధనా పద్ధతిలో ముద్రణ రూపంలో రూపొందించిన కోర్స్ మెటీరియల్ అందిస్తోంది. కోర్స్ మెటీరియల్ అధ్యయనానికి సహకరించే విధంగా రేడియో, టెలివిజన్ పాఠ్యాంశాల ఆధారంగా కార్యక్రమాలు ప్రసారం చేస్తోంది. అధ్యయన కేంద్రాల ద్వారా ఏర్పాటు చేసే సలహా సంసర్గ తరగతులు, సైన్స్ ప్రాక్టికల్ సౌకర్యాలు విద్యార్థులకు స్వయం అధ్యయనానికి ఒక చక్కటి అవకాశం. ఇవి విద్యార్థి సమీపంలో ఉండే అధ్యయన కేంద్రం నుంచే పొందొచ్చు.
అంబేద్కర్ సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం విద్యార్థిని విద్యార్థులకి, దూరదర్శన్ ప్రేక్షకులకి నమస్కారం. టుడే we are going to discuss about modulation and demodulation. We find this topic in UG and PG. First 40 minutes are allocated for the discussion of the subject and 20 minutes are allocated for the clarification of your doubts. You can call us by calling us at 04027031431, 04027031432, 04027031433. To participate in our discussion, we have subject experts with us, Dr. M. Purnanandam, Senior Most Counselor of Ambedkar Open University, Dr. N.V. Prasad, Department of Physics, Osmania University. Speech or music is usually in the form of low frequency waves. We all know that sound travels in the form of waves. The frequency of the audio signals lies in the range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz. The energy of the waves is proportional to the frequency. As the frequency is low, the energy of the waves also is low. So they cannot, these signals, audio signals cannot travel long distances. The power involved in the low frequency signals also is very low, hence they cannot travel long distances. For transmission of music or video over long distances, we have to superimpose the audio signals over a high frequency wave. The high frequency wave is called as carrier wave. The process of superimposition of the low frequency signal over a very high frequency is called modulation. It means we superimpose the audio signal over carrier wave. At the receiving end, a process just opposite to the modulation is performed. The reverse process of separating the original audio wave from the modulated carrier wave is called demodulation. Depending upon in communication, we use modulation technique. Depending upon various factors, we need to modulate the signals. The need for, what is the need for the modulation of the waves? Short range. Because the energy is low, frequency is low, they cannot travel long distances. Mutual interference is another factor. In the atmosphere, millions of waves will be existing. When the audio signal is traveling in the atmosphere, they will interfere with the atmospheric waves, and there will be interference will occurring, and it is difficult to predict the modulated signal. Similarly, the poor efficiency, the efficiency of the low frequency waves, radiation of low frequency waves will be very less. So it is difficult to send the waves by radiation. Practical antenna height. The height of the antenna should be comparable to the length of the wavelength of the antenna, signal. The height of the antenna should be comparable with the height of the size of the height of the antenna. For transmitting signals, we need antenna, the size of the antenna comparable to wavelength of the signal. For transmission of 20 kilohertz signal, an antenna of 3750 meters is needed, which is practically impossible. So the modulation is very important in transmitting the signals to long distances. We come across different types of signals, modulation techniques: amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and phase modulation. Prasad, can we introduce advancement in the communication?
Yes, madam. With a brief description of what madam has given, the modulation means nothing but as a changing over. If you want to send a signal, you require a carrier wave. That signal is superimposed on the carrier wave, and you are sending to the sending. This is called modulation. When you demodulate, it means we want to receive the signal and you want to separate out the carrier and you want to send the signal. That is called demodulations. So superimposing of audio signal on high frequency carrier, the resultant wave is called modulated wave on radio wave, and process of extraction from the modulated wave is called demodulation wave. If you go to the brief history into that, the first systematic unequivalence transmission of electromagnetic wave, what electromagnetic wave is explained by the Maxwell, according to Heinrich Rudolf Hertz. First man, he said that the passing the radio signal into this space. If you look into the diagram, he has shown spot gap transmitter in the spot, and the round one, it is a receiver. Hertz, what he did is he sent a signal over here and he received a radio signal, and he received a radio signal in a receiver. So after that, 23rd of 1900, the Canadian inventor called Reginald A. Fredensson, he actually done more experiments on sending the radio waves. After that, US Edison has got a patent, that number is 46597, what he has given here, and the aim of the Edison is he want to send the signal from one ship to another ship. It is we proud to say that J.C. Bose in year 1894, he also worked in similar radio waves, but his contribution was he received the radio waves over longer distances, whereas Hertz received the radio waves in a shorter distances. But the most unfortunate thing is Bose could not patent his work and his work. So he did not commercially exploited his achievement, what Bose has done it. The next achievement of the waves, Marconi was awarded in year 1909, and he got Nobel Prize. He shared this Nobel Prize with Bohren for contribution of the radio sciences. Marconi demonstrated the use of radio wireless communications, and these communications was equipping ships of life for serving for the wireless communications. In more advanced, when coming to that cellular concept, the cellular concept was developed by the Bell Laboratories as well as Indian scientist named as Shubhenga Dias in 1992. What he said, that is the hexagonal geometrical coverage. This is made a laid foundation for the cellular mobile communication into that. If you look at the diagram, we have a lot number of blue cells and yellow cells and hexagonal shape of things. So if you look into the distance between one hexagonal shell, another hexagonal shell, if you send a signal, there is no question of interference. And another advantage, what he has said, that the splitting out the hexagonal cell into many cells, this was a real achievement for cellular communications. So in brief, neighboring cells do not use the same set of frequencies to prevent the interference, and often approximate coverage of area by cell analysis of hexagon, and increasing system of capacity by frequency reuse. So, based on this concept, cellular mobile communication was started after 1980s. So, this is the madam what is brief communication started from radio frequencies to.
Sir, what are
Cellular
different
phones.
types of modulations we come across?
As we have heard from madam as well as from Professor N.V. Prasad, we understand that modulation means change. So, this change is a signal going to some place is changed initially, and it is going to the place and being carried. While it is being carried, it is changed. So, if amplitude is being changed, it is called amplitude modulation. If a frequency is being changed, it is frequency modulation, and if it is the phase that is being operated on, it will be the phase modulation. So, once we know that there are these basic three types of modulations, we will have these monitor, you will be able to see the signal as well as the black one at the top is the signal. Signal means the sound, the speech or music and some of these things, sometimes the picture also, and the lower one is AM, that is amplitude modulation. You are able to see that amplitude modulation here, that is what is happening to the amplitude of the wave, it is increasing and decreasing. You are able to see these things increasing and decreasing, but it is not becoming 0, it is going to a minimum, it increases and decreases, it is going to a minimum. So, this is the amplitude change, amplitude modulation. The still lower one in the blue is called the frequency modulation. You see here, if you observe the entire length of this blue one, when you observe, there will be change in the frequency. Frequency is not uniform here. The carrier frequency is one and the frequency of the signal is another one. It is being changed. So, it is called frequency modulation. Here we will have
Prasad, what is the theory behind the amplitude modulation? Sir was telling frequency modulation, amplitude modulation, phase modulation. First of all, shall we try to explain what is the theory lying behind amplitude modulation?
Yes, madam. Coming to the amplitude modulation theory, we'll coming to the monitor, we'll see the equations. Coming to the monitor and equations, then amplitude modulation theory. Let us assume Vc is equal to carrier voltage, which is equal to Vc cos of omega t plus theta, where theta is nothing but as a phase angle, and Vc is nothing but as an amplitude of the wave, let us call. Then modulation Vm voltage is equal to Vm and cos omega by t, omega m into t, and by solving these two equations, then you get the resultant wave. A resultant wave is in a form of V is equal to Vc plus Ka Vm cos omega m into blah blah blah. And in these equations, if you look into that Ka, the word Ka, the Ka is nothing but as a proportionality constant which depends upon the value of Vm basically. And if you Ma, the suffix here represents about the index for modulation, modulation index of amplitude, amplitude modulation index, which is related by Ka Vm by Vc. This is called modulation index. And if you further solve by substituting Ma is equal to Ka Vm by Vc into equation number 1, we will get V is equal to Vs cos omega Ct plus the second term and the third term. If you look into the second equation briefly, the Vc is the amplitude and omega is equal to frequency, and the second term, the amplitude is equal to Ma Vc by 2 and omega c plus m into is another frequency term and is another frequency term. The second term represents about omega c plus omega m, and third term represents omega c minus omega m. It says that there is a difference between the frequency thing. For example, if you plot from equation 1, if you plot from equation 1, we will get this is the equation from equation 1 we will say that information signal and carrier signal and amplitude signal. Here the amplitude of the wave is changing, the amplitude of wave is changing, this is called amplitude modulations. Now from the equation 2 clearly we have seen that omega c plus omega mt and omega c minus omega mt, that is reflected in here. By expanding the equation 2 it gives a kind of frequency spectrum. In frequency spectrum the Fc is called carrier frequency, the word Fc minus Fm which is derived from omega c minus omega m. Similarly Fc plus omega Fm which is derived from once again omega c plus Fm. So the Fc minus Fm is called lower side band frequencies and Fc plus Fm is called upper side band frequencies. The band between Fc minus Fm and Fc plus Fm is called bandwidth of the carrier wave. But strictly speaking, if you look into that, the carrier wave is not exactly as simple, it is in a complex form, and therefore if you look into that, this is the carrier wave spectrum what it shows. If it is a periodic kind of thing, if it is amplitude is a periodic kind of thing, complex periodic thing, we use Fourier series. If it is a non-periodic thing, we use Fourier integrals. The most important and striking feature over here is modulation index. If you look into this diagram, the modulation factor defined as amplitude change carrier wave divided by normal carrier wave. If you look into the first diagram, it is a 50% modulation. So modulation factor, if you calculate it, is the amplitude wave minus carrier wave amplitude divided by the carrier wave. So is approximately 0.5 A, so 0.5 means the 50% is modulated wave. Then the second diagram, if you look into that, the modulation factor is equal to the amplitude wave amplitude modulation wave amplitude minus carrier wave divided by carrier wave. If you calculate it, is 100%. So modulation factor is equal to 1. The earlier case modulation factor is equal to 0.5. In the third case, if you look into that, the modulation factor is equal to 1.5. It's more than that. If you look into the third diagram, we are getting clipping of the wave as well as the disturbance, whereas in case 1 we don't have that kind of things. So mean to that modulation index factor is the limiting factor where it cannot more than 1. If it is more than 1, the communication is very difficult. So noise will be also influencing that. So the communication disturbance and clipping of the wave is also possible if it is more than 1. Therefore modulation factor plays a governing role for the communication system. Madam, this is the modulation's importance.
Thank you, Professor. Sir, what are the limitations of amplitude modulation and how do we generate amplitude modulated waves?
If you look into the monitor, we will be able to know few things about the limitations. One of the first limitation is the noise that is being observed. The monitor shows some of these things. First one is noise. The noise should be low. Whenever we want to appreciate a speech or a signal, suppose somebody is speaking to us on a phone, if it is disturbed, we will not be able to appreciate. So noise should be as low as possible. If it is possible, it should be nil. So this and low sideband and upper sideband, both these things should be as efficient as possible. That is another important thing. The third one is small operating range of the frequency. The fourth one is lack of the audio quality should be handled carefully. So the next slide will show us some of the important things in these circuits. So here we will see the generation of amplitude modulation in the monitor. We will see two types of amplitude modulations. One is called linear modulation, the other one is called square law modulation. Here amplitude modulating signal, if you call it as, say for example Vm, if this is proportional to MA, what is MA? We have already seen, Mr. Prasad was telling about it, modulating index, or it is also called depth of the modulation. So these two are related to each other. Once if they are linear, it is called a linear portion of this curve, and this is operating device is used. So here it is IC is equal to a constant multiplied by VB. Then in this case we will have a plate of the DC that is being used in the given triode circuit. There we are seeing AC signal is superimposed on the DC signal and it is being sent. And the next one is called square law modulation. In the square law modulation we will have the current, cathode current IC is equal to earlier one. IC is equal to A1 VB plus A2 VB square. VB is called the base voltage, IC is the collector current. So A2 VB square gives us square law modulation. This is square law modulation. The curve of the particular device is being used at the curved portion of the device. Hence the output voltage of this is being given in the balanced modulator. It is called V0 is equal to 2K A2 Vm Vc and cos omega c plus omega m into t plus cos omega c minus omega m into omega t. Here omega c plus omega m is the upper side band, omega c minus omega m is the lower side band. So these two are being taken care of and it is being operated like that. Here the carrier is removed, side bands appear at the output. Hence there is a what is called power economy. Omega m and omega c in the equation that we see are, it is effectively Vm and Vc, they are interchanged to produce the efficiency. We will also see the curve. Go to the back. You can observe the curve, the signal that is given and that is being transmitted on the linear side is being shown on this particular one, and the modulated one is shown on the right hand side. That modulated one, you can understand, it is not 100% modulation, but there is modulation. You can say approximately 50% modulation. You will see now in the next circuit, we will be observing the power associated with these things. The power associated is Pm, the modulated power, is equal to Pbb Ma square, that means modulation index square, divided by 2, where Ma is modulation index, that is equal to Vm by Vbb. So Pi is the input power, is equal to Vbb into 1 plus Ma square by 2, that is the associated power. These are the limitations and generations of these particular.
Prasad, how do we produce frequency modulated waves?
Madam, what now sir said that once again the frequency modulation we required once again carrier signal and this is a modulating signal. In frequency modulation, frequency is varying. For example, in case of the positive cycle, we observing the loops are apart from that. In the negative cycle, they are coming nearby, and once again positive cycle they are apart from that. The negative cycle they are coming nearby. That's the reason the frequency is now changing. In earlier case the amplitude is changing, now here is the frequency is now changing. To understand more about that, it is when the frequency of the carrier wave is changed in accordance with the intensity of the signal, that is called frequency modulated signal. So we required carrier signal plus modulating sine wave signal, together they call frequency modulated signal, where we are getting the positive loop here aparted from this and the negative loop are nearby things. So that is the reason the frequency is now changing. The frequency is now changing, therefore called frequency modulations. So look into the characteristic features. The frequency deviation of FM depends on amplitude of the modulated signal. The center frequency is a frequency without modulation called modulating voltage, which is equal to 0, and the frequency modulated signal does not determine the frequency deviation. These are the three characteristic features. To understand more about the theory frequency in that, this is a center frequency. carrier center frequency. This is carrier center frequency, this is a carrier center frequency. Now this carrier center frequency now shifted into the plus KES, it is upper side, and it is minus KES, it is the upper side. Now the carrier center frequency is now changing to upper side, and the carrier changing frequency is going to the lower side. To understand more about that, we recall the equations, that is Vc is equal to Vc sin omega c plus theta, where theta is nothing but as a phase angle. We now here then Vm is equal to cos omega c t, and omega t is equal to omega c plus kf Vm cos omega m into t, where this is carrier voltage and this is the amplitude of carrier, and modulating voltage and it is amplitude of modulating voltage. Then the omega t is equal to frequency, and from by solving these three equations, what we are getting is V is equal to Vc omega ct kf Vm by omega m, like this. Then kf is nothing but as a proportionality constant. This proportionality constant once again depend upon Vm, and the index instantaneous frequency Fi is equal to carrier frequency plus this relation we have. From this we have the earlier figure. This is called F maxima and this is called F minima, that we are writing here. F maxima is equal to center frequency plus some value, F minima is equal to center frequency plus minus this value. Now since we have F maxima, F minima from Fi, we can also calculate what is Fd. So Fd is equal to F maxima minus F minima. This is called deviation of the frequency. If you look into that, once again the deviation of frequency is called modulus index factor MF. In earlier case we called MA, amplitude MI. It is a frequency modulation, therefore called MF. So MF is equal to Fd by Fm, which is related to Vf in Kf into Vm divided by omega m. Vm is nothing but as modulated voltage amplitude, and by solving all these equations we are getting V is equal to Vc into sin omega c and cos and sin, cos and sin and equations. Since these equations is in a harmonic kind of thing, and therefore to solve these equations we required Bessel functions, Bessel of 0 first kind. So V is now this equation now into the J0 mf sin omega c plus t plus J1 etc. So the first term represents J0, the second term represents J1, the third term J2. So in order to solve these equations we required MF value and Bessel functions. So we go into details. This is the graph what we are showing. So this is called from n is equal to 0, the wave is coming like this for n is equal to 0, then n is equal to 1, this is the wave we are getting here, and if you look into the n is equal to 0 wave, the wave now here diminishes at approximately 2.4 value. This value is now diminishes, and n is equal to 0, n is equal to 1, n is equal to like that. For example, so to understand these side bands we required one is n order and another is modulation index factor. So keeping in view of that, if modulation index you treated is equal to 1 and the then n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3, n is equal to 4, we get all these side band spectrum of the frequency band spectrum. Similarly, in n is equal to 4 and relative strength for n is equal to 0, n is equal to 1 odd orders, we get the spectrum of frequency spectrum like that. In earlier cases the index is less than 1, in modulation frequencies index can be more than 1. The bandwidth, now whatever you have calculated the bandwidth, it defined as width of the frequency spectrum that contains all components having amplitude equal to or greater than 1%. So bandwidth now calculated as 2n into Fm, where Fm is a related as Fd by Mf. This is the frequency modulation.
Sir, Prasad was giving the theory behind the production of FM signals. Now experimentally how do we generate?
The generation of frequency modulation is being done by several methods. Of these things, one in our study material available is shown on the monitor. Look into the monitor, we will be able to see a particular circuit. So this circuit I am referring is something like that. Earlier one we have used these tubes. On the left side of the circuit we will have a pentode tube, on the right side of the circuit we have got a triode tube. This left side one is the pentode one. In the pentode one we will have the first part of the circuit is called reactance part of the tube. Second part is called oscillator part of the tube. So the amount of capacitance that is being used here between these 2 points, for example this is the point and this is the point, using the tank circuit here we will be able to alter the capacitance of this tank circuit to adjust what is called the reactance. Hence the frequency of the oscillator is controlled with the aid of the reactance of the tube. Hence this controlling is generally called as reactance tube frequency modulator circuit. So here within the pentode we will have the plate of the pentode and the cathode of the pentode. The potential applied between plate and cathode is VAC, amount of signal, audio signal given is VAC. This VAC and the amount of current that is passing through the tube, that is IP, plate current, these are proportional, and the phases of these things are important for us now. If IP is leading VAC by 90 degrees, capacitive reactance appears in this one, and if IP lags behind and behind VC by 90 degrees, it is the inductive reactance that is taking care of. So proportionately what we will have this either inductive reactance or capacitive reactance will be coming into play and produce what is called reactance tube technique of frequency modulation. And on analyzing this particular circuit we will have the effective terminal impedance is being calculated. So this terminal impedance in turn will have the calculation of or evaluation of GM called transconductance. So this transconductance variation of with the grid voltage of Vg of the curve is shown, and this is being shown in our next slide. On x axis we have got Vg and y axis we have got Gm. So when you plot these things you will have a linear variation, and the associated the modulation index can be found out using this. MF is equal to Vm by 2 into brackets Vgo into Co divided by C Rgmo brackets complete plus Vgo minus Vcc applied to the tube. So this will help us to get the necessary reactance change and the associated changes that we are going to get in the frequency modulation. And the frequency modulation has got another type of one circuit. Here it is a transistor circuit. Here also we will have the first part of it is the reactance one, and the second part one is given by the oscillator one, carrier oscillator.
So till now we have discussed about what is the theory behind amplitude modulation and frequency modulation, and how do we generate the waves. Now after receiving the signals, how do we detect after modulation, how do we detect, that we will discuss now. Prasad, will you explain how can we detect the amplitude modulated signals?
Madam, the modulated signal what we are showing over here, the modulated signal goes to the detector or demodulator, and this demodulated coming to the signal. Now signal is coming over here. So the modulated signal now takes the signal over here. This is called demodulation signal. In order to get the signal, we have several methods are there. In that, demodulation signal, amplitude modulation signals, one is square law detector. When you look into the square law means the equation follows in a square only. For example, this is a wave, modulated wave, you are sending modulated wave. So in here it takes both positive loop as well as negative loop and takes, and full complete signal is coming out here and complete signal is coming out here. Now here we have I versus V. The curve is non-linear, therefore called square. If it is a linear, we call linear. Since it is a non-linear, therefore we call square. So I versus V plot, if you drawn it, it is a completely non-linear one. It is not a linear one. When you are sending a modulated signal over here, we have both up from the up positive loop and the negative loop. Both together we will take, and the waveform coming over here like this. So both you have positive and negative. Everything from 0 to here, full loop is coming like this. This is called square law detector. So looking to that, we have amplitude wave where the signal V1t, the V1t signal can be defined as EC 1 plus mxt plus cos 2 pi fct, like that, and this is a square law device, and the output we call V2t. Then Vt2 can be represented by AV1 plus BV square. If you look into these two equations, the input is proportional to square of the output. So square of, that is the reason they call square law. So input is not exactly equal to output. So the output square is equal to input. The output square is equal to input means it is a kind of square law. So this is a low pass filter when you can't get a message of M2. If you look into the equations part, let us assume V2t, that is nothing but as output voltage. It is defined like this equations. So the first term here is proportional to, for example, the first term is equal to BE square into 1. When you neglect this part, the second part is equal to BE square into mx part, like that. So if you further calculate this, V2t is equal to AEC 1 plus this equation comes like this. Now when you put low pass filter, we will get the message of BE square m and xt. So recovering of message of signal xt at the output detector. Therefore it is a main intention of that, it is a recovery of the what here given input signal. If you get input signal, the first part we called you don't require LPF. If you want to get the second part of the signal, we required low pass filter. Then with further we have linear detectors. Now we have IF intermediate frequency transformers here when we are getting a signal, and we are putting a diode here, and we have capacitor and audio output coming here. So the modulated signal is coming here, then we are getting the output. Here you look into the linear detector part. Now this is I versus V character, it is a straight line. The earlier case we have a non-linear, it is a non-linear, that is called square law detector. In linear detector we have square. So I V is like this. In this case we do not get this loop, we get only this loop only. Now here if you look into this plot, and this is goes to 0, and this part here, and this part here, and this part here. Now the wave is coming over here, only this part of the wave is coming as an output, only the one side of loop. The other side of the loop it will not come over here in a linear detector loop. That is the reason linear detector loops have a kind of disadvantage of that. So in order to improve of that, the envelope, we have this called envelope demodulator. This envelope demodulator, it is now this is a signal we are feeding into that. So now we have a detector diode here. When RC circuit we are putting here, the output now coming over here as a wave now here. Now this wave have both wave as well as carrier wave, and the output we are getting and simple wave is coming over here. Now if you look into the logical consequences, now if you put it like this, now here we have diode. During the positive cycle, don't bother about the negative cycle. During the positive cycle, from here to here the peak positions, now you are getting here. So the diode getting charged and the capacitor getting charging through diode. When diode is on, it gets charged. Look at this part. This part diode is on, and since the input signal is less than the output signal, so it takes once again charging, diode is get charged, then discharge, charging. So the positive loop from here to here, the positive loop, the diode gets charged, and that is the reason diode on and off. Diode gets on and off about this portion, that is this positive loop only. Coming to this loop, the diode there is no question of current is passing through. So therefore diode get the capacitor get discharged, the capacitor completely get discharged about this negative portion. During the positive portion means the amplitude as increases, now this is increasing. Now the decreasing part, the decreasing part, the diode will not pass through that, so diode will becomes inactive. When it reaches the peak position, then once again about next positive cycle, once again the diode on and diode off, then the frequency build up, then the negative part frequency will not build up. So this is the two techniques are important techniques, madam.
Sir, how do we detect FM signals?
In the process of the FM signals, if you look into the monitor, we will observe a particular circuit and its associated waveform. Please look into the monitor. We will have the monitor and the circuit. These are the signals. If you have, this is the FM slope detector, uses the attenuation slope of a tuned circuit to convert frequency variations into amplitude variations, that can then use a diode detector to give the required audio. So the meaning of that is an FM is converted to AM and then demodulated. This entire thing is called a discriminator. So in the process of discriminator, the bandwidth of the tank circuit must be large compared to modulating frequency of the applied potential. So here we will have the various types of circuits are there. This is one slope detector circuit. In this, the amplitude of the carrier wave is increasing to a maximum and decreasing to a minimum. So with the frequency of the resonant circuit. So at the resonance, you will observe this peak. So an output of amplitude modulated wave is distorted and noise prevails. In order to reduce this noise, we will have what is called very good limiter is required before the discriminator. So like that we will have the associated detectors and the limiters are necessary to make the frequency modulated circuit. Frequency demodulated circuits are there. Some of them are Foster Seeley discriminator, this is shown in the monitor. The other one is ratio detector circuit. These are some of the circuits available in our course material.
Sir, shall we try to demo the experiment with the help of Mr. Mohammad Taki? These equipment we are using in our university labs. We are going to demonstrate the amplitude modulation signals and demodulation, frequency modulation, demodulation. Please. Sir,
hello, I am here to explain how to perform amplitude modulation and demodulation. As per our discussion, our professors have told us there are different amplitude techniques and there are different frequency modulating techniques. Here we are having amplitude modulating signal and demodulating trainer kit. Here in the amplitude modulation and demodulation, we are having 4 sections. This is carrier generator signal, and here we are having AF signal generator. First of all, let me check whether the carrier signal, how it look likes. This is the carrier signal with variable amplitude and frequency. Here you can see the carrier signal generator. Now I am connecting the CRO to the AF, that is audio frequency. Here this is the audio frequency which can have
Signal wave.
waveform in the sine wave shape and with variable frequency and variable amplitude. Now this in the trainer, now I am going to show you how to construct a modulated circuit and connect carrier signal to the carrier input in the modulating section and AF input to the AF input in the modulation section. Now you can see the amplitude modulating signal in the CRO. This is the amplitude modulating signal. Here you can see that the amplitude is different. This is Vmax and this is Vmin. This is Vmax and this is Vmin. Now I am going to show you how to demodulate the signal, the reverse process of the modulation.
Over modulation. Because he explained in the theory.
Yes, as per our discussion, I am going to show you the over modulation. This is the over modulation. The shape of the modulating signal has been changed. It means that the noise has been added to the signal. Now
Can you show under modulation?
this is the under modulating signal or nothing but 50%.
Index is
Yes.
around 0.5.
Yes, sir.
Now arrange for modulation index as 1. Reasonably perfect modulation.
This is the perfect modulation.
Very good. So that is how we can compare
Yes.
the under modulated, over modulated and perfectly
Perfect
modulated.
modulation. Now I am going to show you the demodulation,
Amplitude demodulation.
amplitude demodulation.
It is also called a detection.
Yes, sir. Now I am going to connect amplitude modulation signal to the demodulation circuit as I have connected. Now connect the CRO channel 1 to the demodulation section and observe the demodulation.
Y shift.
This is the demodulation. What AF is given, same thing we have seen in the demodulation section, the same waveform. This is
That is
about
the signal wave.
yes, sir. This is about amplitude modulation and demodulation.
Okay.
Now I am going to show you the frequency modulation and demodulation. In the frequency modulation and demodulation, here you are having two sections, that is frequency modulation and frequency demodulation. In the frequency modulation, here we have generated inbuilt carrier signal.
Focus to only that board, madam.
Inbuilt carrier signal. Inbuilt carrier signal is generated by using the IC 8038 with 5 volts amplitude and frequency is 50 kilohertz.
Very good.
And externally we are applying the audio frequency signal from function generator.
In the regular cases
Yes,
where
sir.
we observe frequency modulation, EMF radios and other things, the frequencies are from 80 megahertz to 110 megahertz.
Yes, sir.
So, but such things making in the trainer kit is difficult.
Yes, sir.
So we are making it as 50 kilohertz.
50, yes, sir. because we are not having related equipment to measure the frequency. So here we have decreased the frequency to the 50 kilohertz and we are applying audio frequency to the 10 kilohertz using the function generator.
Very good.
Here first check the carrier signal.
See the CRO, you will see the carrier signal. Carrier signal is 50 hertz,
Yes sir.
50 kilohertz.
Yes sir. This is the carrier signal.
50 kilohertz.
Yes sir. This is the carrier signal with 5 volts amplitude. And now by using the function generator, I am applying the audio frequency signal to the AF input in the modulator section.
Very good.
Now you can see the frequency modulating signal. This is the frequency modulating signal.
The waves are nearer and farther.
Yes, as per our discussion, as you have explained in the theory, here we can see that the frequency of this section is much higher than this section. This is the low frequency and this is the high frequency.
Very good. Detection.
Yes sir. Now I am going for demodulation section. In the demodulation section, disconnect the modulating output and connect it to the demodulation input. Then you can observe the demodulating waveform in the CRO. This is the demodulating waveform. What we have given the
Original.
AF signal from the function generator, same as indicated as demodulating signal.
The original signal comes here.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Taki. Sir, we can compare the FM and AM. Shall we explain the students what is the comparison between these two?
We can certainly compare these things, madam. The important thing that we understand for our favor of our viewers, we will recollect that in the radios we used to have AM part of it and then short range and medium wave. In the medium wave we used to have AM, and this AM is divided into two parts. One is sky wave, another is ground wave. These two are being used. In the radios we used to get the signal or the song of a particular film to be something like not very appreciable as we appreciate in cinema theater. That is the reason why our audio is being a little poorer in AM amplitude modulation. That is the reason why we require frequency modulation. Nowadays we will listen FM in our mobiles and various other things. The quality of sound that we are observing is very high quality, and hence FM audio is very nicely given. So one of the important things that we observe on the monitor is a comparison. This comparison, we will see amplitude of the carrier remain constant with modulation in the frequency, and amplitude of the modulation of the carrier changes with the modulation in the amplitude modulation. Similarly, the carrier frequency changes with modulation in the frequency modulation. The carrier frequency remains constant with the modulation in the amplitude modulation. The carrier frequency changes according to the strength of the modulating signal. The value of modulation index may be little more than 1. The carrier in the amplitude section, you will see on the right side of the monitor, the carrier amplitude changes according to the strength of the modulating signal. The value of modulation factor or index cannot be more than 1. This is the thing.
Prasad, what are the differences between FM and AM receivers?
Differences between frequency modulation and amplitude modulations. The frequency modulation receiver has two additional stages called limiter and discriminator. which are different from amplitude modulation receiver. Frequency broadcast signals are lie in the range of 88 to 180 megahertz, whereas amplitude modulation broadcast signal lie between 540 kilohertz to 1600 kilohertz. Frequency modulation receiver free from the interference, that is they don't get interfered so easily, that is much weaker signals can be handled successfully. This is one of the very important statement. Frequency bandwidth is about 200 kilohertz, but amplitude modulation is 10 kilohertz, and this is the main differences, madam.
So, a lot of advancement has come in the communication technology. Using frequency modulation, we are able to transmit stunning frequency signals of audio, and even in computers we are using, as in computer modem we are using QAM, and you can clarify your doubts by coming to the university. Thank you.